The broadcast never showed it, but during Q3 in Austria, something clicked, not just on track, but inside Ferrari's garage. While the cameras followed the usual front-row drama, a quieter, far more symbolic shift was happening between Lewis Hamilton and one man, his race engineer, Riccardo Adami. Right after Hamilton crossed the line for P4, beating Red Bulls and nearly matching Leclerc, his radio stayed oddly calm. No hype, no team celebration, just a short, focused exchange with Adami. Precise, efficient, almost coded. No mention of podiums. No false excitement. Just the voice of a driver and an engineer who finally understood each other. And that's what the cameras missed. This wasn't just a good qualifying. This was the first proof that Hamilton and Adami had clicked, and that changes everything inside Ferrari. Because behind every title fight, behind every championship dynasty, there's always one pair. A driver and his engineer. What happened in Austria wasn't just about setup. It was about trust. And it started with a silence. But who is Adami? And why does Hamilton trust him more than Ferrari's leadership? That's where the real story begins. Riccardo Adami isn't just an engineer. He's a survivor, a ghost in red. Most fans still associate him with Sebastian Vettel, the four-time world champion who often praised Adami's calm under pressure and sharp mind during Ferrari's most chaotic years. But Adami didn't just survive that era. He learned. He adapted. And now he's Hamilton's secret weapon. When Lewis arrived at Ferrari, most assumed he'd align quickly with Fred Vasseur, a familiar face from junior formulas, someone with executive authority. But insiders noticed something different. During simulations, Hamilton spent more time with Adami than with strategy chiefs. And while Vasseur gave press briefings, Adami rewrote how data was filtered to Hamilton in real time. Austria was the first visible proof of that shift. While Vasseur spoke of team unity, Adami and Hamilton operated like a military unit, sharp, surgical, unbothered by the outside noise. Every call in Q3 was timed to perfection. No traffic, no panic, just control. This wasn't Hamilton adapting to Ferrari. This was Hamilton reshaping Ferrari through Adami. And that raises the real question. Is Adami still following orders or writing them? Charles Leclerc started on the front row, Hamilton just behind. But while most saw two Ferrari drivers chasing the same goal, the data told a different story. One that hinted at internal separation, both in setup and strategic alignment. Leclerc's side of the garage ran a conservative config, low risk, familiar, stable, just enough to secure a result. Hamilton's side, a more aggressive rear setup, risky ride height, delta margins that danced on the edge of grip. Why? Because he wasn't just fighting other teams. He was making a point to Ferrari itself. Q3 was the silent showdown. As Leclerc ran his banker lap early, Hamilton waited. Adami calculated every car ahead. When the track peaked, Hamilton launched a lap that, if not for a minor turn 3 snap, would have placed him on the front row, ahead of Leclerc. And the radio? After Leclerc got congratulations from the team, Hamilton heard only Adami, speaking with precision, not celebration. That silence from the pit wall wasn't accidental. It was political. There's a power shift happening inside Ferrari, and Austria was the first time it bled onto the track. In Formula One, silence is never empty. It's a signal, a message carefully placed where words would be too dangerous. And in Austria, Ferrari's silence after Hamilton's P4 spoke louder than any celebration. No team-wide great job. No public praise from Fred Vasseur. Only Adami's calm debrief, followed by an internal radio blackout. Why? Because this wasn't a weekend of unity. It was a weekend of factions. Insiders confirmed Hamilton's garage operated semi-independently throughout qualifying. While the core team focused on Leclerc, Adami crafted a custom rhythm with Hamilton, from tire prep to delta planning. Vasseur was briefed, but distant. Not once did he enter Hamilton's side during Q2 or Q3. That's not procedure. That's a message. And when Hamilton mentioned in post-qualifying interviews that it was the best operational session Ferrari's had, he didn't thank leadership. He credited Adami. He praised timing. He praised structure, but not the structure led by Vasseur. That wasn't coincidence. That was a quiet rebellion. A coded announcement that Ferrari's center of gravity is shifting. Not in speeches, but in execution. The question now isn't whether Hamilton can lead Ferrari. It's whether Vasseur will survive his leadership. P4 on paper means nothing dramatic, no podium, no headlines. But for Lewis Hamilton, this fourth place meant a declaration not of speed, but of structure. This wasn't about beating Red Bull. This was about sending a message from inside Ferrari. I have what I need, and it's not coming from the top. The last time Hamilton looked this calm after qualifying was during his Mercedes peak. Back when he and Peter Bonington operated like a neural circuit. In Austria, the same pattern emerged, not in celebration but in control. Hamilton didn't need to hype the result. He needed to show it was repeatable, sustainable, strategically sound. He called the session world-class but aimed the compliment squarely at how it was run, not who was running Ferrari. There was no praise for development pace, no flattery toward leadership, only cold respect for operational execution. That's how a new hierarchy speaks, not with fireworks, but with precision. P4 wasn't a position. It was a proof of concept, that when Ferrari runs through Adami, Hamilton delivers. And when Vasseur stays out of the way, everything works. Charles Leclerc said all the right things. He smiled in the press conference. He praised the team. He welcomed Hamilton's performance. But the way he looked at the timing screens during Q3 told a different story. Leclerc has been the emotional core of Ferrari for years. The golden hope, the loyal soldier through chaos. But in Austria, for the first time, he wasn't the only strategist on track. He wasn't the only one shaping Ferrari's direction. Hamilton's lap, fast, aggressive, one corner away from the front row, rewrote the balance.